We've been out in the gallops this morning. It's very wet out there. But whilst we're out there, we're chatting about having possibly speedier pedigrees coming into your yard this year. Certainly, Sheikh Hamdan seems to have a few more Dutch R, the little thing, and acclamation, just a bit more speed than over in years gone by, perhaps.
Yeah, I think Sheikh Hamdan's probably bred the mile and a half type horse, and I think he's looking for a bit of excitement and likes to have a few 2-year-old runners. And so the brief this year was to try and buy some 2-year-olds if we like them. And I think every trainer had an opportunity to buy some, and we bought a couple for him, which we're very happy with, and hopefully we can get them to Ascot, which is what he'd like.
And hopefully they will stay on in training as well a little bit longer throughout the year.
Yeah, I think Sheikh Hamdan's very supportive of his Dubai trainers, so a lot of horses will, he has to find the balance of supporting them with nice horses and keeping some horses here for him to enjoy in the summer when he's in England. So, he manages it fine, and he knows what he wants, and he knows what horses will suit Dubai and what might be better off staying here, and hopefully he can do well on both continents. He's certainly been champion owner forever in Dubai, also it seems.
Some of the horses that he's going to enjoy over here, Otgl would be one of those, wouldn't it?
Yeah, Otgl's done well this year. He was a good 2-year-old and missed so much of the season, unfortunately, and then we got him cracking early, and he won a couple of decent races, a listed race and a valuable race on Good Friday on the all-weather, and then we ran him in the Guineas, and he didn't run so well in the Guineas. I don't really know why, but we're putting it down to the fact that he may not have stayed properly, so we're going to drop him back and run him in the Jersey Stakes at Royal Ascot.
That's a 7-furlong race, as was the race at Lingfield.
Yeah, he's 1 over 7. We know that's what makes him tick, and we've just got to get him in the best possible shape for that race.
It's a lot of promise, though, isn't there? Still, the way he won at Lingfield, it was a big race day that day. Obviously, the all-weather championship, so it was a big day for everybody. And the way he won that way, he seemed to quicken quite nicely. The mile is another question, as you say.
Yeah, I mean, we felt that it was right to give him a go in the 2,000 Guineas, and he didn't run up to scratch, but I don't think he ran up to his Lingfield form there. I just don't think it worked for him, and maybe the fact that he was, Lingfield racing, competitive racing at Lingfield is quite difficult. One, he was drawn right on the outside, so he had to go forward, never really settled. And then the second time he was drawn inside, and he had to go forward to get his position. It was a bit rough, and it got him racing, and I think he was over racing a bit in the Guineas. And we've spent since then trying to just get him into a good rhythm and get him breathing properly so that he'll do it in the right way at Ascot, and we'll see what happens on Wednesday the 17th or whatever it is.
And 7 furlongs is the kind of in-between distance, so it's a tough race to win, but if you have a horse that doesn't really stay a mile and does stay to 7, a little bit more perhaps, then that's ideal.
Yeah, it's probably the only Group 3 race in the calendar in Europe that is regarded as a stallions race. And Aklan won it for Sheikh Hamdan a few years ago and booked his place at stud. And I think the Jersey is a well-respected race, and a stallion career can beckon if you win it, I think.
Other nice horses, you've got Mehcad Room, a lovely horse, and you'll have plans for him.
Marvellous horse, and I think he's improved. He ran fabulously in the World Cup from a wide draw, and he was just taken on a bit going down the back, and Paul had obviously asked plenty of him to get to the front, and then when he was going to ease up, he was racing, but he still ran a great race, and he finished second and gave us all a great thrill. I'm sure he's improved. He looks much more focused and more mature this year, and he's going back to Ascot for the Prince of Wales, where he got nutted close home by Al Kazim. It looks like it'll be a tough race, but they're all tough at Ascot, and if we can get him 100%, he'll give a good shout.
Days like that, nights like that in Dubai and in Royal Ascot, that's what it's all about, isn't it?
Absolutely. It's my job with these better bred horses to try and turn them into stallions, and he needs to win a Group 1, and preferably a proper Group 1, and that is a proper Group 1, and we'll see Siristers Adler and Trev and Magician and a whole host of others, so it's not going to be straightforward, but I'm very happy with the horse, and I'm looking forward to it.
You've got to take them on sometime down the line, and whatever names they have, they're there to be beaten, aren't they?
Absolutely. I harbour this hankering to run him over 1.5 miles at some stage. There's a lot of stamina in the dam side, and I think just ridden a little bit more conservatively, I think he'll be just as good at 1.5 miles and maybe better. So I asked last year, I asked Sheikh Hamdan if he would consider the King George at some stage. So we'll get the Prince of Wales out of the way and then take it from there. But he likes Ascot and runs well there.
Horses such as Battalion as well. He likes a bit of cut in the ground, doesn't he? So he wouldn't mind this rain right now.
Yeah, I made an error with Battalion. I ran him at Newbury, middle of the month on drying ground, and he hated it. And it was just one of those where it had been soft and it dried really quickly, much quicker than anyone thought, and ended up being good to firm. And I shouldn't have run him, it was my error. And then of course the following week the alternative race was run on bottomless ground, and I had wasted a race with Battalion. So you still learn after 27 years of doing it. He's in the Coronation Cup, and I wouldn't rule out going there if the ground was soft.
Is that pretty much what it's like to be a trainer of the top horses, that you've only got a certain amount of races per year, and you don't really want to waste one of them?
Well, I can't speak for anyone else, but that's the way I view it. And I think, for example, Mehcad Room has got probably 6 races in him, proper races, from now. I don't count Dubai. And they need to be well targeted, and our plan had always been to go to Ireland for the Group 1 race, the Tussauds Gold Cup, and the ground turned up heavy and we never went. He then had the backup of a race at Sandown, the Brigadier Gerard, and that was soft, so he's not going there either. So we just go straight to Ascot, and he'll go to Ascot providing it's not soft, but he might well run, if it's going to continue to rain, he might well run at Ascot regardless. But he's a better horse on top of the ground, and we know that. He ran lethargically in the Champion Stakes last year when he was in terrific form, and he just didn't lift a leg in the heavy ground.
Talk about one more Mutatie. What are the plans there?
Yeah, I love him. He's a See the Stars, and he was a gorgeous yearling. He's a very late foal, late May foal, so he's only just 3. He got beaten in a maiden at Newbury in the spring, which was gutting for me. And then he ran second in a listed race at Newmarket, ran much better, than bolted up in his maiden at Sandown towards the end of May. And he's going for the Tercentenary race, the Group 3 race over 1.25 miles on the Thursday of Royal Ascot. And, he'll run a nice race in that.
What do you like as a loser coming second? For most people, outside of the professionalism of the sport, you've run well, you come second, it's great. Talk to the jockeys and trainers. Coming second, for most part, unless it's a massive race and you've run your race, it's not an option. How do you look at those races when you come back from a big expectation and it's not gone the way you wanted? Are you a bad loser? Do you take a few hours to settle down?
Well, a lot of it depends on circumstance, really. If I'm pleased with the way we've prepared the horse and happy with the horse himself, and he runs second and he's not good enough, then I accept it perfectly normally. If a horse is second and I'm not being happy with the preparation and I know he has a winning chance and I've gambled running him, then I'm angry with myself. I wouldn't show it. But of course, a jockey error creates much emotion for trainers, and I'm hugely critical of jockeys who finish second when they should have won, and I don't think any trainer's different. But
would the public see that, or do you keep that private?
I wouldn't like to show anyone but the jockey himself.
Right.
But that's not my style. I think public things are most unnecessary, and private ones are much more effective. But jockeys don't deliberately or make an error. but they can make an error, and you know, it's a bit like you're driving along the motorway and you're going to overtake someone. We have wing mirrors where you can see, but they don't have wing mirrors, so they have to make a snap decision, and if they get it wrong, it can backfire on them. I'm pretty tolerant most of the time, but you know, if they're second, it happens. They don't all win. But as long as they run to the best of their ability, then I feel that's our job done.